Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again. And here we are with my initial review of the Redmi Note 7. Now, this is not supposed to be an exhaustive review, and to all you guys in the comments who are saying, I want a full review as soon as possible, I want a battery drain test, a camera test, a PUBG test, a gaming test, give me like as many tests as you can within 12 hours of getting a phone, just calm down, guys. We have a lot of time that we'll be spending with this Redmi Note 7 on the channel, and this is really just going to be kind of an initial impressions video. I will go down the list here, but I expect to do kind of more thorough coverage of this phone as we kind of go along, comparing it to other phones, and really just getting in depth with this awesome first Redmi sub-brand phone, which is really exciting here in the Redmi Note 7. So let's get started right here with this awesome phone in Twilight Gold. Look at that. Unbelievable. I just love this so much. Let's get started here with this initial review. All right, so let's get started with what's inside the box, and let me just show you quickly again which version I got. It's the 6GB, 64 gigs of storage version. This is the top of the line right here, and so the price I paid for this phone was 2,050 Hong Kong dollars, so just over 260 USD. But as you know, the entry level of this phone, I guess the price that's getting all the attention is that $150. I think it's the 3 gig spec, but it may be the 4 gig and 32. I'll have to check that. But the main point here is that this is the top of the line. But even still, I think it is offering great value for around 250 bucks with all of these specs. Let's jump in here real quick. We're going to do this fast, guys, like I mentioned. Open it up. And so inside here, you do have a case. This would normally come included right there. There's your Redmi papers, SIM ejector tool. There you go. Not much else in the box, actually. We see here, because it's the China version, we have this Xiaomi, typical Xiaomi charger. Nothing too special there. And the USB-C adapter. So pretty basic unboxing. Nothing too special here. But I do like the gradient here and kind of the wording. Redmi is all over here, and it's really nice to see this sub-brand now having its own kind of identity with their products. And let's go right into it, guys. Design. This is the one you want to see a little bit closer. And as you know, I got the Twilight version, Twilight Gold. A lot of you in the comments have said, oh man, the naming conventions of these colors are terrible. And I definitely agree with you. Twilight Gold, guys, is not what I think of when I think of this. This looks more like a pinky kind of dusk, like violet dusk, maybe. I don't know, like some name like that that kind of reminds you of the colors orange, pink, and purple. It's a beautiful striking back. And let me just show you again. Look how striking this is. When it catches the light, the whole edge here is red and it looks beautiful. Now, the one thing you guys were probably commenting there, you noticed in the photo and maybe in the last video that, oh, there's a dent. And everyone kept asking, oh, is there a dent? Is there a dent? Well, let's see if you can see the dent. Can you see the dent? Near the top, right in here. Can you see it? I'm going to show you very close there. And that's my point, guys. It's very hard to see, but with just the right angle, you can make it out. There it is. You see it right there? It kind of shimmers. Let me kind of move it back a little bit. It's kind of when the light and the lines kind of catch the back. Yeah, I'm going to stop trying this because it's really hard to see. There it is. So there's a slight dent at the bottom there. And what I think it is actually on the opposite side. So it's not on the outer portion of the glass here. It's actually on the inner portion. And it seems to be like a light little nudge into the color there that kind of refracts the light because the light is kind of passing through. And it made it very obvious. But the main point here is that because it is under the glass, there you can see it there a bit more clearly. It doesn't affect, it's not affecting the glass or kind of the rigidity or the structure whatsoever. So it's a non-issue for me. And design-wise, you see it here. We got your 3.5mm headphone jack, SIM tray, USB-C, speaker, mic, volume rocker, power button. And then the other question I got was these edges. These edges, are they made of plastic? Are they made of metal? Guys, I think my consensus here is that it doesn't really matter because they feel great. Listen to it. They have a real nice sturdiness. And it could be very much be hardened plastic. In fact, if you notice here on the actual USB-C port, you see that this material kind of goes all the way down. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was hardened plastic, but I gotta say, if it is hardened plastic, that's amazing too, because it feels great in the hand. You wouldn't know it. You really wouldn't know it. It's got the sturdiness and the hardness of kind of a metallic edge. And if anything, it just proves to me Xiaomi is doing amazing stuff with plastics. I'm not going to hate on it. I love the Pocophone. I'm sure a lot of you out there do. And the Pocophone is one of the best phones it was one of the best phones of 2018. And that was a non-issue for that phone. So if this is plastic, I know this is glass for sure. But if this is plastic, it's a non-issue for me. And just look at this gorgeous phone again. It is just spectacular. It is one of the most beautiful phones I've ever held. And color-wise, my wife is just astounded. She was just like, this is spectacular. So there you go, man. Design is just 10 out of 10 here. And obviously for the front of the panel here, we have a slightly larger chin, maybe than I would like versus kind of some of the other phones we've been testing. But that's probably the one major negative. And then at the top, you see the kind of pearl notch, which once you put the screen settings on, yeah, it's a little bit bigger than I'd like. And maybe this bezel at the top is a little bit bigger, but it does accommodate for the earpiece there. And I would say it doesn't look bad. So you guys are saying it looks like crap. Well, remember how much it costs. And I'd like to see you design a phone this good for that price. So there you go. Like, I think design-wise, this is one of the coolest looking phones for its price range, and has set a new bar, really, in that price point for design. So awesome work, Xiaomi, and I'm super excited to see what the Pro version of this phone brings. And now let's quickly talk about display and the other kind of sections here. We went a bit long on design. Display, we're talking about a 6.3-inch 1080p Full HD Plus panel here, 409 pixel per inch density, and the cool thing here is that the protection of this display is Gorilla Glass 5. So I have no screen protector on this phone. I'm not planning to get a screen protector on this phone, and it just looks great. I'm really liking using this completely naked with no protectors, nothing on it. It just looks great. You can see here, you got the warm contrast, typical stuff for Xiaomi. Don't want to get too in depth with this stuff. You've seen it on all the other phones before. But I will go kind of cycle through these photos real quick here. Let's show you what they look like. Viewing angles, they are pretty good. Although you see there, it does get a little bit, they're not the best viewing angles, but you can't really complain on this price of phone. And as you can see there, they all look pretty good. It's not the best Xiaomi panel I've seen, but it's definitely not the worst. And I think you will be fairly satisfied with this panel. And you see there with the icons, they look nice. This wallpaper, by the way, is just great. I love it. I absolutely love it. So, how does viewing look on this phone? Well, yes, this kind of does eat in there the pearl notch or whatever kind of notch you want to call it. And there is a little bit of a chin. So it's not the most immersive viewing experience compared to, let's say, what Huawei and Honor are doing with their phones. But I think it is not a bad viewing experience at all for the price range. And if you are looking for that budget, for that $150 option, you're not going to find much better than this. So we're just going to pause this for now and let's continue going here. DRM Info. You wanted to know about DRM Info. Well, I have some unfortunate news for you guys. Wow, wow. L3 security level. That's an unfortunate thing there, but I wasn't surprised at all. I didn't expect anything. This phone has literally just been released in China, and if they are going to update that, that will come at a later point. But I'm certain that when this phone arrives in Hong Kong, with the Hong Kong version, probably in the next couple weeks, it will have L1. Maybe. We'll see. But that is one kind of a slight letdown there. So now we go into benchmarks here, CPU, and you see it there, Geekbench for the Snapdragon 660. Pretty typical scores for a Snapdragon 660 phone. Nothing surprising here. And just going to throw up a few other phones that I have been testing. Obviously, we have the V20 here, which has a just killer score. Clearly, it's not competing in the same category here. That is just like by far a much better score because it's got the fastest chip on the market. I mean, what do you expect? And here we have, for example, just to show you guys on the Pocophone, that is the result on the Pocophone F1. So 2300, 8000, but this is a very respectable score. And you see all, these in order here of performance. Now, think about the pricing though. This phone costs almost over 500, 600 US dollars. This one is in the 300, 400 range. And this Redmi Note 7 costs 150 bucks if that's the one you're going for, and is a full-fledged Snapdragon 660 here. So look, it's on the lower end of kind of performance, but what do you expect for the 660? And if that is a concern to you, that is probably something that would make you want to wait for that Redmi Note 7 Pro that's going to be coming up in the next month, I'd say. But even for now, I still think this is going to be no slouch in overall performance. And some of you guys, I know, were commenting on the glitch you saw on this phone. Well, I've been using it, and yes, there are a few little glitchy moments here and there, but they are very few and far between. Like, I'm using this phone, and I'm kind of going through different apps, and it's working fine. It's working absolutely fine. They definitely are a little rough around the edges in some spots, you know what I mean? And I think it's just par for the course. For any new release, I would not worry about it too much. Let's go to Gmail. There you go. And as you can see here, let's go right into battery here and see what GSAM's been up to. So these are the GSAM kind of scores I've gotten so far. And so it is calculating a screen on time of around 9 hours and 25 minutes. 4,000 milliampere battery on this phone. I have no doubt that the Redmi Note 7 is going to be performing right up there with our buddy here, the Pocophone, and all the other 4,000 milliampere phones. So this is a great result here initially. And I can't wait to kind of put this phone more through its paces here in the battery department as well. And so before we jump into audio, I did want to just quickly compare this phone, especially the back, compared to some of the other Xiaomi phones I've tested in the recent kind of months of the channel. So we're going to bring out here our buddy, the Mi A2. So let's kind of look at the back of these two phones and see how do they compare right there. And in terms of size as well, you can see them right there. Well, look at that. I mean, the Mi A2, it kind of represents the previous generation design of Xiaomi. It's got that metal back, but it still feels great in the hand, and you see them both there. I mean, the Mi A2 is not a fingerprint magnet, whereas this phone definitely will be a fingerprint magnet. But man, it's just night and day in terms of just feel in the hand and just kind of quality level. You see them there, and you see them there. And that's really the comparison I wanted to do the most. But let's quickly throw in the Mi Max 3 as well, and the Pocophone F1. So there's the Xiaomi family, and in fact, let's kind of put them in order of release right here. And so you clearly see Xiaomi's evolution of design happening here. We're going from metal backs to these kind of now plastic in the kind of more budget range, or to trying to save money, but done really well. And I think if this phone was all plastic, I never complained, and it was done really well. And so if the Redmi, as I mentioned, is plastic on the edges here, the Note 7, then I have nothing to complain about. It feels and looks amazing, and you can clearly see this evolution of design in Xiaomi phones coming into 2019. I'm super excited to see how this evolves in all of these different lines coming this year. It's super exciting. All right, let's do a quick audio speaker test here. Starting with the Redmi Note 7, 75%. Mi A2, 75%. And what a test that was. What can I say? I think we have a new winner here in this kind of mid-range Xiaomi department. The Mi A2 has had excellent speakers, but I really like the sound of the Redmi Note 7's speakers here. They sound clear, crisp. I think there's still a bit more loudness on the Mi A2, but I just enjoyed the playback on the Redmi Note 7 better. And so there you go. Redmi Note 7 wins this speaker round. Incredible. It's taken the kind of mid-range Xiaomi title away from the Mi A2. And so you guys requested, I deliver. Here's some PUBG on the Redmi Note 7. And so we're going to get started here. Alright, so I said we go right into gameplay, and so let's do it. Let's go for the Frankie swim test. Performance seems really good. With all of these phones, PUBG is going to be a pretty solid experience. I think anything over the Snapdragon 660 is going to be good. And there we go. The classic Frankie swim test. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Let's go back up here and get ready for the plane jump in a second. Alright, here in the plane jump on the Redmi Note 7. I don't see any frame rate drops. Looks really good. Now, do I wish that this was all the way to the edge there? Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of do. Now, I'm sure you can eventually set it up to play that way, but really just showing you here more the performance and the experience as it comes out of the box. If you just pick up this phone and wanted to just start playing this, this is what your first experience on PUBG might look like. Now, is the phone getting hot? Not at all. Now, the chip is probably up here. I don't feel any heat so far. All right, and here we go. All right, so I'm going to lower the volume a little bit here. Okay, and so the heat level has definitely increased a little bit on the side here. And I got to get some guns. As the sound, it is coming from just one speaker there. That is at max volume here. All right, someone just came and took all that stuff, so. Okay. All right, we found someone to kill. All right. We definitely need some stuff here. All right. No, I'm getting killed here. Oh! You know, I think people know that I'm just probably the worst person you'd ever want to have on your team. And to all you guys who wish I was a bigger PUBG player, well, it's probably not going to happen, guys. I do play a lot of Fortnite, and I play some Asphalt. I'm more of a console gamer. I just finished a game on my MacBook called Firewatch recently. That was a lot of fun. And kind of like my Nintendo Switch, I like the Mario games. I love Zelda. I love the Uncharted series on PlayStation 4. But, first-person shooters have never been like my serious thing. And so performance-wise, you see here, we are now getting a little warm here on the left hand, but it is not a deal breaker. You're going to have a great time playing PUBG Mobile on this phone. Let's take one more guy out here. And there we go. Good stuff. All right, so last but not least, we'll talk quickly about the camera here. Now, guys, I haven't taken that many camera shots with this phone yet. I've had it, as you know, for like a few hours last night and a few hours into today. But just wanted to show you here just a little bit of the camera settings. But most importantly, the video settings. As you see there, HDR is not enabled initially when you open the camera app. I thought it would be, but I guess they like keeping it off. I really wish there was a way you could keep it on all the time. Video quality, though, this is the major bummer here, guys. As of right now, in the stock camera app, I don't see any 4K video shooting capability here. You do have 1080p at 60 frames per second, but there's no 4K at 30 frames per second. There's no 4K to speak of here. Open Camera probably does have that available, and I will probably review and see what the 4K looks like when I do kind of my more in-depth camera review here. But let's just take a quick subject shot here. So I'm running out of the subject matter, so we're going to use BB-8 again for this quick camera shot. Let's take it right here. And I'll definitely be sure to try to get some more subject matters in the future. There it is, Sean, Redmi Note 7. How is this camera doing so far? I really need to test it further, guys. I think so far, that is a pretty nice shot. And it is that Samsung 48 megapixel main sensor there that is the real question that I know you guys are all wondering about. In terms of the other specs, we have the 5 megapixel, your typical f2.4 dual camera setup there. And you have your 13 megapixel selfie camera right here as well in the notch. I'll have to test this camera further, but have a look at these sample shots here and sample photo and some video that I've taken so far on the Redmi Note 7, and definitely a more in-depth full camera review will be coming soon. Rear-facing video on the Redmi Note 7. Beautiful Sunday here in Hong Kong. See it there, just gorgeous. Beautiful day here. Colors look pretty good. This is 1080p, 30 frames per second. Guys, I don't see a 4K option in the stock camera app, so likely we'll have to get open camera or see how else I can shoot 4K on this, but no built-in 4K as of this time. This is front-facing video on the Redmi Note 7. Looks pretty good, although for all you guys who wear sunglasses, I think the polarized sunglasses will have problems with the Redmi Note 7. It looks very dark to me, and it comes and goes, but overall it still is very hard to see what I'm shooting here because my sunglasses are on. But looks pretty good when I do this. Not too bad. So that's it for this, what was once a short video that I was planning to make, now turned into an epically long initial review. And my first and final kind of verdict, I guess, in this initial review is that this is a solid phone and probably the most beautiful budget phone that Xiaomi has ever released. Hands down. And by the magic of editing, I went ahead and wiped this phone down, and now you see it, dent and all. And for all you guys who are saying that the dent is a deal breaker, well, it's a production issue, and as you can see it slightly there at the top, I'm sure that if your unit had that dent, then you can go ahead and request a refund or return it for another unit. So that is a non-issue for me, but I will say right now, this is unequivocally the best budget looking, in terms of design, just the most striking and most beautiful budget phone that Xiaomi has ever released. And if it isn't indicative of their kind of upcoming designs, count me in. I think there is a lot of things to like about the more subtle kind of phones. So like, I had here, for example, the burgundy Nokia, and you see them right next to each other. And the burgundy in this kind of late afternoon light, it just doesn't look good. I mean, it's very nice on the edges, as you can see here, but it just doesn't have that wow factor. And this phone is just a wow factor phone. I put this phone right there. Look at that. It looks amazing. I put it at any angle. Look at that. It just looks unbelievable. It really doesn't matter where you put this phone. Whichever angle you put it at, it looks fantastic. And I think that's my main point. This is a great first statement from Xiaomi with their new sub-brand, Redmi, and is a really awesome first step. But I think for all of you guys on the Redmi Note 5, Mi Max 3, and all these other phones, you may want to wait for the Redmi Note 7 Pro and for that Snapdragon 675 processor. And I think, though, for anyone else who is interested in getting that amazing $150 price point for this phone, go for it. Software is going to improve over time. All the little bugs that you're seeing on this initial kind of period of time, they'll be cleaned up. And this is going to be one of the best budget phones and one of the best value phones, second maybe only to the Pocophone F1 of 2019. But hit me up in the comments. What do you think of this phone? Let me know which questions you have about it, which comparisons you like to see. Definitely a lot of comparisons I'm interested in doing. There may be some that are a bit more interesting to me than others, but we'll see. But thanks for watching, guys. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching this kind of ranty but very long-winded video. You know, I had a lot to say about this phone even after the first day of use, and I can't wait to share more thoughts and more insights when I do kind of further testing on this phone. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and this is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Y'all have a good one.